Welcome to Documentation and Comments for Libraries lesson. In this lesson, we'll explore how to write documentation for your Python libraries and use comments to clarify your code. Proper documentation and comments are essential for making your code understandable, maintainable, and easy to use by others and yourself in the future. What is documentation? Documentation is a written description of your code. It helps others and yourself understand how to use and maintain it. In Python, documentation can be added using docstrings, which are multi-line strings used to describe the purpose of classes, functions, and methods. Comments are single-line notes used within the code to explain specific lines or blocks of code. Why are comments and docstrings important? Docstrings help explain the purpose of a function, class, or module, its parameters, and its return values. Comments are used to clarify code logic, explain complex parts, or remind you and others of something important. Examples of writing documentation and comments. Example 1. Writing a function docstring. Let's start by adding a docstring to a function. This helps explain what the function does, what parameters it takes, and what it returns. In this example, the docstring clearly states that the function calculates the sum of two numbers. Example 2. Writing a class docstring. You can also add a docstring to a class to explain its purpose. Here, the class car has a docstring explaining that it represents a vehicle. Example 3. Adding parameter descriptions. For functions with parameters, it's important to describe each parameter in the docstring. This function has a detailed docstring that explains what each parameter does. Example 4. Adding an example to the docstring. Including an example of how to use the function within the docstring can be very helpful for users. In this case, the docstring provides an example of how to use the multiply function. In this lesson, you've learned how to write proper documentation and use comments effectively. You wrote docstrings to explain the purpose of functions, classes, and modules. You included descriptions of parameters and return values. You added examples and comments to improve the clarity of the code. Well-written documentation and comments are essential for making your code easier to understand and use. They help others and your future self navigate and maintain the code.